Hi, I'm Scotty. If you want to learn how to service and repair antique mechanical clocks, then subscribe to my channel. Welcome to Scotty's Clock World. In today's video, we continue putting the movement back together again. We're going to reinstall the fast-slow adjustment movement on the clock, the one that uses the very tiny keys that I showed you in the last video. We slot that piece in there, spin it round freely to make sure it's working smoothly. Now we take up the back cock, place it on top of the movement, align the screw holes, but before we do that we'll check. See that large hole there? That goes over the pin there. So we align that initially. Get that lined up, then we align the screw holes. Now we take one of our screws, put it into our special screwdriver that clamps it, holds it so it doesn't fall out. Then we insert the screw into the screw hole, wind it down a little bit, not completely to the bottom, just sufficient to get it in there. Now do the same for the other side. Screw into the holding screwdriver. Put it into the screw hole on the other side and wind it down. Remember, you never wind screws up tightly with this screwdriver, you will break it. You just put it in efficiently so that the screw is in the hole, and then you wind it down with a normal screwdriver. Right, we'll check our installation now. Turn it round. Yes, that's turning freely. Twist it on the pivot, the pinion. Yes, that's working all right. Now, turn it round. And we'll now tighten both the screws down. Take the movement up again and check that the adjustment arm is working correctly. Now we're going to sort out the shocking mess on the suspension spring. You can see the terrible shape it was in when it arrived. That is just not acceptable at all. Here you can see the bent one and the new one that we're going to work with. The first thing we have to do is straighten out the suspension spring, because we want to measure how long the total length is. We'll use a pair of pliers for that, flat nose pliers. We can't really do any more damage to the suspension spring that's already there. We just want to flatten it out so we can get an accurate measurement on how long it is. There's our 6-inch rule. We'll align the top of the suspension spring with the top of the rule. That's aligned there. We look down at the bottom and it's exactly 9 centimeters. Right on the mark there. Now we'll take up the new pendulum leader. There it is there. You can see with a nice straight suspension spring on it. Take out a marking pen, because we're going to measure off 9 centimeters on this new pendulum leader, and that's where I'll mark it with a pen, and that's where we're going to bend it. I'll run a pen mark right around the full side of the rod, so it's easy to be seen. Now take up the rule again. We want to measure how much the bend is on the bottom of the pendulum leader, and it's 10 mil. So we'll take up our new pendulum leader, mark off 10 mil with our felt tip pen, and that's where we'll be cutting it. I'll run a mark right round to make it easier to see. Now taking a pair of round nose pliers, I'll bend the pendulum leader at our first mark, 9 centimeters from the top. Line it up, get a grip on it, and bend it at right angles. Check it against the original, make sure it's the same length, top and bottom. Yep, that's right. That's the old pendulum leader that we straightened out. That's the total length of it. This is the new one that we're working on now. We need to bend it up again to put a hook on the base of it. So using our round nose pliers once again, we'll bend it up. Taking up our pliers, we'll straighten the pendulum leader, twist it round a little bit. Very wide at the base, so we're going to cut the extraneous piece off, then we can readjust the base, make it a little bit closer together. Now that we've cut the pendulum leader to size, we now need to finish it off. Taking a pair of pliers, we twist the end of it up to make it tighter, and we've got there a length that's too long, so we'll cut that off to make it a bit shorter. With the cutters, it's pretty tight. I think the cutters are a little bit blunt too, actually. They could do with the sharpening. I'll have to put a stone over them. Take our end cutters, try those instead. Yep, that's got him. I think they could use the sharpening too somehow. They're looking a little bit rough. Picking up our pointy nose pliers again, we'll bend the tip into the general shape that we're looking for. But you can see it's pretty rough where we've cut it off. So now we'll have to finish that off by filing it. First up, we'll check to make sure the length is correct on the new piece that we've built. There they are together. The tops are aligned. Check the bottom. The same length. Good. Throw the old one in the bin. And now back to our new one. You can see there's a hole in the top there. That's used to suspend the suspension spring on that piece of the back cock there. I'll show you how it goes. Put it in through the bottom of the crutch. and then slide it into the back cock. Slides in, and then you pull it down, and that holds it in place. There it is there. When that rod is turned, the top piece of the back cock moves up or down, thus it increases or shortens the length of the pendulum leader, causing the clock to run faster or slower. Quick check of the escape wheel again to make sure it's all working properly. Now that we've put the back cock on, turn the rod, you can see the wheels turning. Now it's time to finish off the pendulum leader by filing the rough edges off it. Put it in a small vise on the desk, and using a medium thickness file, first I file the top flat, then file each side up to about 30 odd degrees angle to put a small bevel on it. Change its position in the vise, tighten it down again, take the last few burrs off it. That vise looks like it's done a bit of work, been around for a few years. Alright, that's looking okay. Take it out of the vise. Much better ending on it.